Good evening. Tonight we will be discussing Cuchulainn and his place in Irish mythology. Cuchulainn is a prominent figure in Ireland. Cu, the first part of his name, means hound and is a common Irish title for a war hero, destined for a short life filled with glory. Cuchulainn certainly fits this description, for he is unmatched in battle, young, beautiful, and strong, but he is fated for a brief mortal life. He is associated with the gods and is of divine origin, though he is born mortal and only later ascends to godhood. Cuchulainn's birth and his youth are filled with magic. He is the son of the mortal Dectra and the god Lugh. As a mortal child, he was raised by foster fathers who were great Irish warriors, respected for their strength and wisdom. Many of the tales from Cuchulainn's mortal years were either training exercises or the frivolities of youth. Some of his tales, however, are full of sorrow, such as the tale of his son, Connla. Cuchulainn was honor-bound to his king. When the king foretold that Connla was a threat to both king and country, he ordered the death of Connla. Because of his oath, Cuchulainn had no choice but to carry out the execution. It was not until later that he learned the identity of the man he killed, his very own son. As he grew older, Cuchulainn obtained magical items and weapons. Scáthach gave him a spear, Bolga, which was so deadly no one could recover from its blow. Manannán mac Lir, the Irish sea god, gave him a visor. Cuchulainn also carried an enchanted sword. Scáthach, a war goddess from Scotland, taught him the martial arts so that he could be unmatched in battle. Cuchulainn eventually married Éire, but before she would consent to be his bride, she imposed incredible tasks upon him. While completing these tasks, he comes into contact with many of the gods his legends are connected to. His father Lugh heals and comforts him after battle. He encounters Morrigu as a beautiful woman, spurns her advances, and narrowly deflects her attacks when she comes after him in the forms of eel, wolf, and heifer. A fairy king offers him the love of Fand, one of the most beautiful Fae women, in exchange for the murder of his rivals, but Cuchulainn refuses, true in his love for Éire. His death is plotted by Maeve and foretold by many different acts. Most notably, Cuchulainn breaks a geis placed upon him. He was bound both to stop at the roadside and sample any meal offered him, and to never eat the flesh of a dog. Since his name means hound, eating dog meat would have been sacrilege. While traveling one day, he comes upon a cloaked traveler on the side of the road. He stopped by the road to sample the meal, as required by his first oath. However, the meat offered was dog. In this situation, he could not help but break at least one of his oaths. Not knowing what the meat was, he consumed it, breaking the oath against eating the flesh of a dog. In Irish mythology, the penalty imposed by the fates for breaking a geis is very often death. His fate was sealed. There were other incidents that also foreshadowed his death. When his horse, the Grey of Macha, is saddled for him, the steed cries tears of blood. When he mounts his chariot, his weapons fall at his feet. He also encounters Banshee, who washes his armor, foretelling his pending death. In the end, Cuchulainn is stabbed by 3 spears and dies. He is so fierce in battle that even after he has fallen, his enemies do not really believe he is dead. Only when Bav, in the form of a Royston crow, lands upon his shoulders do his enemies begin to celebrate his fall. Cuchulainn is still very much remembered in Ireland today. Because of this, modern pagans who follow a Celtic or Irish path usually include him in their worship. He represents the hero aspect of the god. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time when we discuss Dagda and his place in Irish mythology. Blessed be.